This is TWiT. Sources are bubbling up saying that HTC, a company that we've talked about many times, a hardware company that we love, that has a rich history in Android, but is floundering.
Started some of our loves for Android.
Yes.
Started my love for Android.
Kindled our flame for Android. Is in the final stage of negotiating a sale of the company to Google. So HTC going to Google, although that would not, according to this rumor, I will emphasize rumor, include the HTC Vive, the VR unit of HTC's that's been pretty successful. That would not include that.
I don't think it can. I would imagine because it's Valve.
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Well, it's funny because we talked about the potential of HTC looking for buyers and pondering selling off Vive, and I believe I said that wouldn't make any sense because Vive seems like the only exciting thing going on at HTC. So this is almost the inverse of that, where they're going to sell the business unit that is failing and the phone unit and focus on the VR unit, which I think makes sense.
Or maybe they sell off the Vive to a different buyer, you know what I mean, and get out entirely. Who knows?
I think they should double down on the Vive.
You think who should, HTC or Google?
HTC. I think they should double down on the Vive and go ahead and allow someone to come in and take over their phone.
And keep the phone business going and try it for the umpteenth time to make it work. Which is not, I mean, that's not crazy. We all want to see HTC thrive. But a buy out from Google actually makes a little bit of sense, right? Because the Pixel is the in-house brand. And it's at least last year's Pixel was by and large created by HTC.
You and I are still using our Pixels on the show, which I just want to say I feel like is a testament to the fact that we're using these. We could be using any other of the millions of phones that have come out this year. We're using the Pixels.
I will add to that. I will add to that because I was going to say it during the hardware block when I talked about the Moto, but I'm eventually going to have to send the Moto Z2 Force back to Motorola because it's a review unit. And afterwards, I had the choice of either going back to my Nextbit Robin or to this nice shiny Pixel that I now have in my possession. I too will be in the Pixel army for a little bit of time at least.
What a difficult choice that must have been. Do I go back to the Robin or go to this Pixel that I have here?
That'll be a tease for the hardware block. I will expand more on that. But yeah, I mean the Pixel's a great phone, and I think that HTC has some good DNA to them as a phone manufacturer. They failed in market penetration and in marketing and on the far end of the chain. And Google has got a great brand. They've got a huge marketing behind them, and they don't have the supply chain behind them to provide hardware. So when you lay out the cards on the table, it makes a lot of sense.
HTC does have some DNA. It has the Droid DNA, if I remember correctly. That was actually the first HD screen that I fell in love with. And do you think this makes more sense than Google once owning Motorola and a few years later selling that off? Like, do you think this would see the same fate, or would this be different?
No, I think it would be different because it's a lesson learned kind of thing from Google's perspective. At least that's what you'd hope. And HTC, they have that history with hardware. And in my opinion, Ron, I think at one time they were doing pretty well as a leader, but then just sort of stagnated and got behind with some of their innovation, let alone the marketing.
Yeah, and let's not forget who works at Google, Flo.
Rick Osterloh.
Exactly.
Hardware.
So don't you think HTC and Rick Osterloh's hands would thrive?
Just gonna take HTC and just kind of rock it back and forth.
It's like Rick Osterloh is the cookie and HTC is the frosting.
That's a much better metaphor than what I was going for.
And they go together. They work. It's delicious.
I want to give Jason bonus points for fantastic Oreo analogies.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I'm going to milk this for all it's worth.
Oh my gosh, he just keeps going.